now like to invite Professor Ashwini Chhatre, Associate Professor and Executive Director, Bharti Institute of Public Policy at ISB, and also the driving force behind the dialogues for setting the context of the three-day crucial sessions. Professor Chhatre is an interdisciplinary scholar with his research interests broadly centered on the dynamic cross-scale interactions between governance, economic development, and environmental protection. He was awarded a PhD in political science from the graduate school at Duke University. Professor Chhatre was the first Giorgio Ruffalo postdoctoral fellow in sustainability science at Harvard University in 2006. He has spent more than a decade working in different parts of India, mostly as a community organizer and social activist working on issues related to natural resources like land, forests, and water. A background in economics, graduate training in political science, and long-standing engagement with scholarship in geography, anthropology, landscape ecology, and environmental history ensure that Professor Chhatre's research will never be confined to a single discipline. Professor Chhatre, please.
I will follow Arushi in welcoming all of you, including those of you who are either delayed at the airport or been witness to the fragility of our economy, to a change in criminal laws, bringing the country to its knees in 1.5 days of a strike. These are very interesting times that we live in. It is, in more ways than one, a spectacle of public policy that we are living through, sometimes on a day-by-day or an hour-by-hour update. I want to take this opportunity to give you the context within which the conversations over the next 3 days will take place. Of course, there is a history to everything, and there is an important background to this edition of Public Policy Dialogues. There are two motivations that you might be able to discover and decipher in the events that follow. The first is the focus on human development, and you may notice or even wonder why it is not sustainable development. We deliberately want to go back to basics. 17 sustainable development goals are good, but perhaps too many. And not all goals are created equal. Some are more important than others. Some are more fundamental than others. It's important to remind ourselves that learning outcomes in primary education, nutritional outcomes during early childhood, and health care for all are far more important for long-term development, sustainable or otherwise. We want to explicitly bring our own attention to these challenges that are unmet. We have not failed, but we have not succeeded either. And certainly there is not much cause for either celebration beyond small joys that we can snatch occasionally in some geographies, in some times. Human development continues to be a challenge even when we don't talk about it. And I want you to take human development more seriously. This is not to say that everyone who will be speaking here, who is a participant in some form, does not care about it. But we need to collectively remind ourselves how important human development is. And of course, like love, it is a many-splendored thing. Artificially, we have divided up human development into 6 themes. I myself do not agree to this division, but I cannot come up with a better one. In order for us to organize our conversations, it is important for us to focus on a small part of the big picture at any given time. But hopefully we have also organized the conversations over the next 3 days meaningfully enough for it all to come together, for each one of us to be able to build those bridges, to borrow those insights from aspects that we either don't fully understand or are not fully committed to. In our copious spare time, and everyone who is even remotely competent is overcommitted. In our copious spare time, if we are able to hold even a few conversations with someone who is not a clone of ourselves, it is an expansion of our horizons. And I sincerely hope that the design of the public policy dialogues enables each one of us to push our own horizons just that little bit, to meet 3 new people who work on things that I don't work on. At my age, not very advanced, but still, it becomes important to take deliberate action to step out of what we are committed to do, what I am very comfortable with doing, things that I can talk about for hours in my sleep. And human development is one such object. It cannot be nailed down. It cannot be solved, not in my lifetime, at least for a country like India. So it gives me a challenge, not something that I can accomplish in my lifetime, but I can find camaraderie, I can find a cohort, I can find a group of like-minded souls who are engaged in their own grasping at different parts of this elephant. All of us are blind, but the awareness that we are blind and we are grasping at an elephant is, I think, a meaningful first step. Not bad. We do get carried away. We do get sidetracked. We have been talking a lot about sustainable development. I would like to urge you to consider stepping back and restart talking about human development, about education, about health, about nutrition, about fundamental challenges that are civilizational in scope, like climate change, that will affect everything, and the institutional challenges that must be solved before any of these other outcomes can be achieved meaningfully in a way that will continue to produce good outcomes. So we are, of course, at a place where looking into the future is extremely important. So that is the first motivation, human development, to refocus, to find this cohort and to expand our horizons without compromising on depth. The second motivation is the depth, the breadth in fact, but also the depth of experiential and practical knowledge that already exists. It's not like we don't know how to create large-scale impact, how to improve learning outcomes at scale, how certain geographies have been able to improve nutritional outcomes, move the needle that seems to be immobile. And a lot of this is, of course, the result of blood and sweat and tears of many of you that we would like to bring to the center stage. This knowledge that currently resides in practice must be made available in a form that can be translated into policy. That is where the combination of institutional challenges and practical knowledge must be overcome. One theme, one issue, one problem at a time. It's not a small challenge, but why would we want to do something that is easy and simple? We have a lifetime to achieve it. We have a next generation of scholar practitioners to train, to motivate, to inspire. to carry on this work because it will not be over by the time I die. I want to end with Ghalib, a source of my inspiration quite often. ताफिर न इंतज़ार में नींद आई उम्र भर, आने का अहद कर गए आए जो ख्वाब में. The best dreams are those that keep us awake at night. We all are driven by these dreams, no matter how small or narrow they may feel to us. But by pooling our dreams, we don't only dream big, but we also make it possible for dreams to come true. Let this be the start of that journey. I welcome you all, and I look forward to talking to you and expanding my own horizons.